Hi, everybody. I am going to give the 1 year update on my journey of weight loss. I started July 17th, 2023, again, right? If you have been like me and have been on this journey a long time, there's always the again, and you never know what's going to happen. So that was a picture of my husband and I on our vacation in 2023. As you can see, he's an adorable man, and he's been with me for quite a while now. So I started a lower carb lifestyle as soon as I get back from our vacation. I'm a type 2 diabetic and have been insulin resistant and obese pretty much my whole life, but didn't know it and didn't know what that all meant. So I decided, okay, it's time to get serious, and we're going to go lower carb. So if you look at these are my numbers, I'm going to be real transparent. Please don't make fun of my numbers because I'm really proud of what I've accomplished. So I started out with I tried to do 75 or less grams of carbs a week, coming from the standard American diet, which is usually, 200 to 300 grams of carbs easily. That was a significant reduction for me. At the time I got back from my vacation, I weighed 292.8 pounds. I had been running about 305 on a pretty regular basis. So I actually lost 5 pounds on vacation. And I think some of that was lack of stress. I did eat, but it was lack of stress. So here's my blood work from the beginning. Again, this is my anniversary dinner on that vacation. You can see that I have quite chubby cheeks and a great smile on my face. My blood work shows that my A1C was at 6, which is pretty good for a diabetic, but it is in the pre-diabetic range. At the time, I was on medications. I did try Ozempic for a little while and I wasn't losing any weight. So I went back to traditional metformin and Jardiance, which were the two medications that I was taking at this time. So this blood work shows that my glucose was about 112 in the morning. The more important numbers, and you'll hear this from me later, are my HDL and my triglycerides. If you look, my triglycerides show 150. Basically, 150 indicates that I am definitely eating carbohydrates. My weight at the doctor's office on that day was 289. So I decided I was going to try to up the game even more. So I'd been about 6 weeks into this lower carb, and I was like, I've been going down the YouTube rabbit hole and decided I was going to try a carnivore challenge. I was going to eat only meat and dairy for an entire month. So starting in September, that's what I did. So at the beginning of September, these are my numbers. My blood sugars were still elevated, obviously, but I did have some solid ketones that shows that I was in ketosis. And my weight had dropped 10, 12 pounds at that time. So by the end of the month, I had lost another 10 pounds. If you notice here, on the October 1st, I had lost 10 pounds. So that's 20 pounds in 2 months, and I was really 2.5 months. I was pretty pleased with that. So in October, I made the decision that, okay, I think I'm going to make this. I'm going to keep this going. So let's take some before and after pictures. So here are a front shot, a back shot, and a side shot of me beginning in October. These pictures were taken the first week of October. I guess I didn't take them in September because I've tried losing weight before, and documenting my weight loss is not something I've ever been because I've pretty much been afraid that I would gain it all back. So in the next couple months, I decided, okay, I've done carnivore, I've done strict, I dealt with a lot of emotional stuff. I realized how addicted I was to food and that food was a big part of my life. And so in that month, I dealt with a lot of like, what do I eat in certain social situations? And that was pretty overwhelming to me. So I made the decision to add back in lettuce, pickles, and cucumbers, and an occasional something else little, but it was all going to be really, really low carb stuff. And I've since added also things like avocado occasionally, and a few other vegetables occasionally. So we went on a cruise for Thanksgiving week, and I still ate mostly carnivore. So like this was my first meal, and what's in that little container is butter. And so I'm eating still commercial dressings, but I'm eating cheese and meat and some basic vegetables, including, like I said, cucumbers. Lobster night was easy. I ate several lobster tails plus a steak, dunking it all in real butter, which is great because real butter is hard to find. For lunch, I would eat things like grilled hamburger patties with cheese. I also put grilled onions on the side. That's one of the veggies that I ate on a maybe once a week basis. I don't eat a lot of onions. You'll know, for those of you who care, that they're fairly high in carbohydrates. So if you look here, this is what my FitnessPal or my Fitbit shows has happened to my weight as I started to do this drop. So you can see I was just constant, 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 nothing I could do. And then all of a sudden I switched to low carb in July and the scale starts to move. So this is us on our cruise. You can see I have very much obese there. My husband's got a belly too. While on this journey, my husband has actually decided to join me most of the way, not completely the same. And he's actually down to the lowest weight he's been since 2000, since before the 2000s. So my weight was still dropping, even though I had a vacation in the middle. So this is like at the end of November, basically the beginning. So you notice I'm in the 250s now. And before I had been in the 270s. So, I'm dropping still. Things start to slow down as always, but exercise and everything has become a habit. So around Christmas time, Mr. and Mrs. Claus decide we're going to have a party and we're going to get dressed like this. We had a real bad freak snowstorm here in Tennessee and left a lot of ice in the roads. I'm a walker. I walk at this point 4 or 5 miles a day is pretty normal for me. And so I just bundled up. It was below zero that day and I was out there walking anyway. Because exercise has become a habit for me. And when I mean exercise, mostly walking was my habit. If you look, this is a habit tracker that I purchased, and I keep track of what habits I'm going to focus on 1 month at a time. All of my decisions are 1 month at a time, and I don't beat myself up when I miss. I just keep going and try a new habit. So February 8th is when it was time for me to get my 6-month follow-up blood work. If you look at my A1C, it went from 6 to 5. My glucose is down to 104, still elevated, but it was 112. My cholesterol has come down a tiny bit. Unfortunately, it appears that genetically, I'm probably like one of the few people who eating all the fat is not going to affect my HDL like I want. I would love my HDL to be high. But I want to look at this triglyceride number here in the middle. This 89 is beautiful. It shows that I am definitely not eating the carbs, that I am converting my fat into food and fuel. And my weight in this one, so it's been 6 months since the last doctor's visit. I was down 39 pounds, 40 pounds almost in that 6 months for my doctor. My vitamin C is great. Another thing that was really amazing to me is not only is my A1C in normal ranges and I could start dropping off some of my diabetes medicines, but I had completely reversed my non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you look at my liver enzymes there, they're 13 and 18, the ALT and AST. They had been in the 70s and 80s and had been for 2 or 3 years. And so I was doing damage to my liver. And I discovered in my journey that really the key to healing your liver, the key to dealing with your cholesterol is really lowering your consistent sugar intake or things that turn into sugar, right? So like the breads, the pastas, the rices. So my low carb journey is continuing. I tend to stay in that 20 or less carbohydrate range, and it's gotten really pretty easy for me. So March through May, end of my school year, was a real stressful season for me. I took on some extra duties at work that led me to sleep less and do more work. So spring break was important. My husband and I went to Florida. Again, we're on vacation, and I'm taking 4-mile walks on the beach at 6 in the morning. And that's just a habit for me. I feel more comfortable with that. It decreases my stress levels. And I am a walker. As you can see, there's a lot of changes in my face. You may notice I've gotten a tattoo. I actually got 2 tattoos in April to show some changes in my own life. I've made some transformations. The first tattoos I've ever had. At the time was 54 years old. Pretty crazy. So here is a full body shot of me. And if you look back to my previous pictures, it's like, wow, there's a change. This is the dress I wore at our graduation. It is an extra large, just bought it from a regular store. And I just felt so good about myself. And it's really at this time that the people at my work, as well as me, start to really notice those body changes. My clothes have significantly changed, and I can wear closer clothes. So here's the end of May numbers, right? You notice I'm down into the 230s now. I was in the 250s the last thing I did. Now, again, this is slow. This is not a fast race. And if you look at my blood sugars or what they are, but my weekly average for my walks have increased, right? I am still eating 25 to 2,700 calories a day on this lifestyle. So now it's time for summer vacations and trips for me. So this is my bestie, Tracy. She and I, we talk on the phone once a week every morning while we take our walks together. She's in Wisconsin and I'm in Tennessee. So it was awesome to get to spend some time with her this summer. My husband and I always go to St. Martin. We have a timeshare there. And this is my first day on island. As you can see, I'm very excited to be there. I mostly eat meat and veggies with a few veggies on the side. At home, I don't really eat veggies. I just eat meat. But when we go out in public, I usually eat a side salad. Occasionally, we'll eat the side vegetables, but normally I just give them to my husband. Once or so on a vacation, like so on the cruise, as well as when I was in St. Martin, I did have a sugary treat a couple times. One in honor of my anniversary, things like that. But it's really rare for me. And I find that when I do eat a sugary treat, I end up craving for a couple weeks afterwards. It has become clear to me in this year that I truly am addicted to sugar. And for those of you who don't believe that's a true addiction, I could introduce you to a few doctors that would tell you differently. So I have true addictive behavior to certain foods. As much as I love them, if I eat them, they make me bingy. And the key is over the course of this year, I've discovered when I have the option, I still want to choose the meat. So if you look at the two plates, the one in front of my husband has some vegetables. Mine does not. I just fill up on ribs and chicken. It's one of our favorite places there. They just grill some great stuff. There's no sauces or seasonings. It makes me feel really good. Here we are at our last meal on the island, and that is lobster thermidor. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like cream and butter and mushrooms and a few vegetables mixed in with the lump crab, with the lump lobster meat. It was so good. And then I have a side, if you notice, of a salad. And that was really easy. Like I just would ask people if it was potatoes or rice, I would just say, can I have extra salad instead? And most of them were very, very accommodating and they didn't have any problems with it. One thing that was really exciting for me is flying on a plane. For those of you who are clinically obese, you know what I'm talking about. You have to get seatbelt extenders or you have to ask people about the seatbelts. And if you look at this picture, it's kind of a weird picture, but I have extra room in my seatbelt for the first time, and I can't even tell you how many years. So it was very exciting to me. So here I am 2 years ago with my husband. And as you can see, I'm an extremely overweight woman. Been heavy my whole life. My husband and I have been together 14 years now. And in all that time, I've been very overweight. Here are my most recent, as of this morning, pictures that I took of myself. And while I am not where I want to be, while I am still overweight and technically clinically obese, I am 1,000 times better off than I was. And the smile on my face is real and my neck is there and I can see my eyes and I feel better about who I am. So what can happen in a year? Well, this is me like 2 weeks ago. When I got on the scale this day last year, I weighed 292.8 and that was a drop. I had dropped 13 pounds at that point. The scale today literally said 232.8. It was the lowest I've seen on my scale at home in since 2019. My diabetes is almost fully in remission. My numbers are normal. My numbers are beautiful. I have one medicine that I'm still taking, a little Jardiance, that just kind of keeps my numbers where I want them to be. My liver has healed completely. My blood pressure is perfect. It was 106/70 the last time I went to the doctor. My clothes sizes have dropped from a 24, which was a 3X for me, to I'm now wearing 16s and extra larges. My confidence is at an all-time high. If you look at my weight journey over the course of all the time that I've been recording, I lost weight once in 2019 and immediately started to gain it back. This time it's really different. I just feel in a different place. I have food control and I have an understanding of what my body is doing with my food. I don't feel bingy. I've had treats and come back from them and figured out what to do next. If you look at this last little picture that I'm showing you there, that is a picture of the jeans that I can wear now versus the pants that I was wearing at my heaviest when I reached 320 pounds at one point a few years back. So all I can say is a year can change the world. So what's going to happen for me? What's going to happen for you in the next year? Well, I think the future is bright. I'm very excited about this. My therapist and I are starting a support group, a life coach support group called Journey to Wellness for anybody who struggles not only with their weight, but things like PCOS, depression, type 2 diabetes, because food really is our medicine, and learning how to deal with anxiety, stress management, goal setting, how to sleep well and get peer support are all important. Over the course of this year, as part of my journey, I made the decision to become a low carb, healthy fat nutrition coach, and I have found my way. I do eat a keto lifestyle, is what people would say. I eat whole food. I don't eat keto treats. I don't eat processed foods. I eat whole foods. And I want to help other people find their way into a healthier place. My confidence is at the all-time high, my mental health, my mental clarity. When I saw my friends on vacation this summer, one of them said to me, she goes, you know what's amazing? She goes, you look awesome. She goes, but you're just changed. You're completely more confident. You have everything going for you, and you're just in this new place. And I just love seeing how much of the change you can have. So my journey is still ongoing. Obviously, I could lose another 60, 80 pounds and still be within the healthy range. But I want to share what I've been learning with you. So if you're local in this community, Manchester, Tullahoma, etc., in Tennessee, or you're willing to drive, please join us. And if you would be willing to share this video to anybody who's local to give them the opportunity and let them know what's going on, I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, we start on August 5th. It's at 6 o'clock, and you can see the address there at the Family Counseling Center here in Manchester. There's a phone number to call for information. First meeting for everybody is free, whether it's on the 5th or whether you don't show up until, October. And so whatever meeting you come to, the first meeting will be free because we want you to see what it's like. And then after that, it's just to help defer some of the printing costs and some of those kinds of things, meeting space. It's $10 a visit and $30 a month. So whichever works for you. Please come. Please see what your future holds. See what the future might hold for you and realize I'm not making anything off of this. I just want to share because who I am today is 1,000 times more confident and more self-assured than I was a year ago when I just didn't know if I could ever figure out what was going on with me. So I'd like to say thank you to all the people who have supported me over this year. And I can't wait to give you my 2-year update to see just where I'm at in another year.